So, on my way to the job, so, I thought I would take the time out to discuss the current events, which is going to be the biggest story going into this morning. Everybody's going to have something to say. I'm not going to say it's going to break the internet, but it's going to be all over the internet. You're going to see various different opinions on what's going on and how this is going to play out. And as I said before, I'm going to play this by ear. I'm going to be fair. I'm going to be, just going to be fair. I'm going to be objective. And I'm just going to see what happens, what comes out. But I will say this much. You wondering why they got Diddy in custody? Is it because they want him to drop dime on somebody? Or is it because this is just another shakedown or a humiliation ritual? But like I said before, I spoke very candidly about how I felt about the situation. In no way, shape, or form do I condone what Sean Combs is accused of. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to convict this man and say he did it until he has his day in trial, in court. And then the evidence is presented to make me believe whether he's innocent or guilty, or whether this is just a setup or a shakedown. So, I'm going to play it by ear. I'm not going to get too emotional when it pertains to this situation. Like I said, this is just a wait and see process, and I'm just going to wait and see what becomes of this. Because like I said before, I stated my true feelings about the whole Diddy situation, and I'm just not happy, period. At the end of the day, you're bothered by this situation, no matter what it is, what has transpired, what has became of a dude that you just thought was a music mogul and an entrepreneur. But now this dude has been arrested and relabeled as a hardened criminal. And believe me, there are more Diddies out there than you think. And a lot of them are not, and a lot of them are not black neither. A lot of them are not black. But they seem to only focus on the brothers and stuff. And like I say, all these dudes that's sitting up here, making these videos about Diddy and all this stuff, like Gene Deal and niggas like Reggie White, all them dudes are rats and snitches, had ties to the police and all this kind of stuff. But now all of a sudden they trying to capitalize off this to, get popularity, which could possibly lead to TV deals, movie deals, and all that kind of stuff. They're not doing this for the benefit of good in society. They're doing this self-serving. It's about trying to profit, off this. And the misfortunes of what allegedly Diddy did to people and to his victims. Like I said, if these dudes really cared when all this stuff was going on, they would have did something. But they sat up here for 25 plus years, up to 30 years. They supposed to have witnessed all these heinous acts, these deplorable, despicable things. Now all of a sudden they want to go from media outlet to media outlet and want to talk about these stories. They basically selling the story who's willing to pay the most money, who puts the most money in the Cash App or pays them the most money. They're not doing this because they want justice served. They're doing it just for them. Not no justice, just for them. So a lot of this stuff is just self-serving. It's not about trying to get justice. You got to understand the difference between justice and just for them. So like I said before, and from what I've been told, Diddy has no bail. Now he's gonna have his day in court. He's gonna be arraigned. In all likelihood, what they're gonna do is it's very sketchy now whether Diddy will be allowed to post bail, but we know for sure they're going to take his passport. That's for sure. They're going to confiscate his passport. And I think Diddy owns a private jet. Now, what they could do to make sure he doesn't leave on that private jet, they could basically confiscate the jet and basically stop that jet from basically leaving a landing strip. So they can do some things. I'm pretty sure for the most part they're going to try to freeze his bank accounts. Now, what should Diddy do? Well, that's up to him. I can tell you right now, this is going to cost Diddy millions of dollars. Diddy is looking at anywhere between $20 to $30 million to fight this case. But he has the money. He has the resources. Diddy is a billionaire. Diddy is worth $1.1 billion. He's a billionaire. So he got the resources. But I'm telling you right now, if they haven't took his passport, they're going to take his passport. And they're going to confiscate that jet, because I think he owns a private jet. So they're going to fix it to where he can't leave the country. Because I don't know the difference. I got to say something. I don't know the difference when you own a private jet versus flying commercial, but I do think you still need a passport. So they're gonna do all that. They're gonna do all that stuff. But like I said, the question is, what happens now? And I'm gonna tell you right now, be on the lookout for fake Diddy stories. You're gonna have every Yahoo and they mama make up stories about how they encountered Diddy and Diddy did this to them. So just be aware of that stuff, because at the end of the day, there's always a pile on. There's capitalization. I'm gonna make this very clear. I have no Diddy story. I've never came remotely close to meeting Diddy. Now the question is, there's been accusations that Diddy has been a long time informant to begin with. Are they using Diddy to take down other people? I'm gonna tell you right now, there's a lot of people behind the scenes that's quaking and shaking in their boots. And I can name a few people in mind that's shaking in their boots that's been real quiet about this whole Diddy situation. Because keep in mind, Diddy is allegedly accused of trafficking. And it makes you wonder, do Diddy got a book? Do he got files? Do he got, what I'm saying, paperwork? And usually dudes like Diddy, they keep a paper trail, or they at least got some files somewhere. And I think that's what the feds wanted all along. I think Diddy is the guy at the top, but I think they want to take a whole bunch of other people down. So this could be a situation where Diddy is going to pull a Nino Brown. Well, if I go down, I'm taking everybody down with me. You do not think for a second that there's other people involved in this. So that's why I'm playing this by ear, and I want to see what happens next. Because I got a sneaky suspicion that it's just not about Diddy. That I think that they want a whole bunch of people. And I'm not gonna say who else I think they're gonna start looking at, because then it's gonna come across as dry snitching. But at the same time, for some reason, snitching has become popular. It's cool now. It's celebrated. It's celebrated. And stop trying to this whole thing about civilians and criminal enterprise, we're all civilians. Unless we're in law enforcement or high-ranking government, we are in the military. We are all civilians, and I hate when people try to use that terminology. It sounds stupid. Whack 100 started using that terminology to try to justify him working with that Mexican rat. That's all. That's where a lot of that language came from. At the end of the day, Whack 100 is a dude that liked to work with rats. And Whack 100 for the last X amount of years has been going on platform to platform doing nothing but dry snitching or blatant snitching. So can we please stop the cap? I think this thing is much higher. I think this thing is much higher than Sean Combs. Usually they want other people. Usually they don't want this to be just about him. They want to take down a few people. And Diddy is tied in with quite a bit of people. So I'ma just tell y'all right now, I'm not talking about nobody that went to a P. Diddy party, because I give two fucks about a P. Diddy party, because I think that's something else that's been overblown. Like I said, they act like every nigga that been around Diddy, like, you know what I'm saying, they didn't drop the soap, you know what I'm saying, or they had to get greased up. They had, you know, I think that's been over exaggerated. But the thing is, they only tie that to the black dudes that's been around Diddy. Diddy done been around a whole bunch of white people too. But once again, y'all don't never bring that up. You just want to, you just want to tie that to black men. Like I said, a lot of you dudes on here, you new age black dudes, y'all is goofies. But basically what they mean by trafficking, they mean, and I already broke it down, they basically tried to rewrite the word pimping and call it sex trafficking. But you know what's so funny? Your girl Kamala Harris, Cam, she wants to legalize prostitution for women. Basically, if a woman want to walk the stroll, you know, and sell her body, that's okay, because it's her body. But if a man is quote unquote a pimp, then he alone should go to jail. So make a lot of sense out of that. That's just some of Kamala's questionable policies and her double standards. But like I said before, I tried to explain that in the last video I did about Diddy. That's how they tried to rewrite a lot of different things. They tried to write, they didn't try, they actually did. They rewrote what the definition of domestic violence was. They rewrote, you know, what basically prostitution was. Basically, they come after the pimp, but they don't come after the hoe. If a woman is what you call working independently, they just call her soliciting sex, which isn't really that bad. They just keep giving them, for the most part, citations and all that kind of stuff. They really don't do no long amount of time. Now, if you a pimp, oh yeah, you looking at football numbers. So that's what they tried to do. And then you started to see a lot of these simp ass niggas out here, these soft Charmin ass niggas. Likely trying, you know, the cupcake and defend this kind of stuff. And that's why you started to see the feminization of black men, where they tried to basically emasculate, aka straight shame, black men. So all this stuff is tied together. So like I said, if you want to support Kamala and vote for Kamala, proceed with caution. Keep pushing. Feminism and straight shaming of the black man. So I'm just telling y'all, it's buyer beware. Well, here's the thing. I'm not worried about projected. At the end of the day, you gonna have an uphill battle. I'm gonna just be completely honest, because I've said this before. I'm not a Trump. I never said I was a Trump supporter, but damn sure ain't no Kamala supporter. They want to legalize. They want to legalize pedophilia. That's all they want to do. They want to legalize prostitution and pedophilia. So that's her policies. You started to see under the Obama administration, you started to see these gender neutral bathrooms. They got them at some of these high-end hotels. So basically what they mean by gender neutral, that means a man or a woman can walk in those bathrooms. And you know what? Sometimes what happens in bathrooms, creepy stuff. So I'm just saying. So that's Kamala Nim's agenda. Why you think they got these charming ass niggas like Roland Martin, you know, DL Hughley and all these dudes, you know, campaigning for Kamala, Ricky Smiley and all those dudes, basically campaigning for a fake black woman. All this stuff is tied. All this stuff is tied together. All this stuff is tied together, and I'm just saying, if you support Kamala, it's buyer beware. It's buyer beware. Y'all keep talking about that what is that, the 25th letter or whatever that shit with Trump? Well, keep in mind, here's the thing. I just want to tell you right now, Kamala gonna try to put laws in place basically where the government, they could just randomly walk in your house and search your house. That they can have a master key to your house and just randomly. So when you come home and you see law enforcement in your house, well, they trying to get those type of laws passed to where you finna lose your privacy, period. She gonna try to pass laws. If you are a gun owner, if they think that you likely to, you know, go do something heinous at a movie theater and places like that, they just gonna randomly come to your house and try to seize your guns. She trying to put that all in place where they could just take your guns because they want to. And guess who they're going to target? Guess whose guns that they gonna come after first? While y'all think this lady just loves the black community so much. So I'm just saying, beware. 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 At the end of the day, you have the right to bear arms. And the Democrats have long been violating Second Amendment rights. Well, they circumvented the whole thing about taking they circumvented the whole thing about taking the potion. They violated your civil liberty. Now, if you want to sit up here and cry about, well, you know, I caught it in family, okay, fine, my heart goes out to you. But at the end of the day, what about the people that didn't? Once again, they got all this technology, but they couldn't administer an alternate solution instead of just telling everybody, hey, either take it or else. They keep saying they want to protect your rights, protect your body. But wait a minute. Shouldn't I have had the right to decide what goes into my body? And that's all I was saying. I never said that I was against it, never said I was for it. I just said you should be able to have the choice, your choice. That's it. But then she wants to sit up here and protect a woman's right to, you know, to choose whether she can, terminate a pregnancy or not. But that's another story for another day. I'm just putting that into perspective because, like I said, all this stuff is tied in. So I'm just saying, buyer beware. That's all I'm saying. They already, and on the side note, they already trying to rig this election in favor to where Cam can win. I really watched that debate with Donald Trump, and at the end of the day, even though Donald Trump didn't help himself, I can tell you the Democrats are really good at lying about what's going on with the immigrants, lying about how they killed reparation bills. They love to tell you, oh, that's not what's going on. So then they'll bring one nigga and put him on mainstream TV to say, oh, it's not true. Well, why is it true? Because I say so. Listen, we know what's going on in Ohio. We know what's going on in Colorado. We know what's going on in Chicago. But you get people that'll continue to try to lie to you, lie right before your eyes. That's one thing the Democrats is good at doing, is just flat out telling a lie. Trying to use mind manipulation and trying to use the Jedi mind trick. And they'll put one dude on TV to say it ain't true, and then we supposed to just be like, oh, well, because you say it, it's not true. Oh, it's the truth. So I'm just saying. So you mean to tell me all these videos of these people snatching cats, grabbing ducks and geese and all that stuff and running off with it? Let me guess, it's AI. Let me guess, it's AI, right? So just stop the cap. Stop trying to insult people's intelligence. But I did want to give you a briefing about what's going on with Diddy and trying to break this down. You have to understand the government, what they tried to do to make stuff seem more horrendous than what it was. They changed the title of it. So from pimping, you're not pimping, you're sex trafficking. So you gotta admit, pimping and then the word sex trafficking it's basically the same thing, but when you change the wording, it sounds more horrendous than what it really is. So I'm just gonna keep it 100. Kamala Harris is anti-black man. Well, I'll say she's anti-straight black man. Or masculine black man. And that's been proven time and time again. So that's why Diddy is looking at life in jail. Because that's all they did, is they reworded things a little bit and changed the title. And then they started categorizing everything and tying it to certain crimes. Like I said before, how they was able to start getting so many domestic violence convictions, and then, because I'm gonna tell you something, when you get a domestic violence conviction, like, you done. And it don't matter whether it's a felony or a misdemeanor, you done. Even if you get it expunged and all this kind of stuff. Now it can be hit and miss. You lose your right to bear arms. They'll tell you that you got a they'll say that you banned for 10 years, but then they'll say, oh, well, it's permanent because federal has jurisdiction over local. So then guess what? You have to, now the Supreme Court has tried to alter some of these laws because they are unjust, and then they are a violation of Second Amendment rights, because I don't think you should ever have no lifetime ban from owning a firearm because you have a domestic violence, 1 or 2. Now, if you're a repeat offender, but then that's what they started to do. So what they would do is, because I'm finna explain to you like how shiesty the government is, and that why they're some of the biggest criminals in the world. they're bigger criminals than some of the people that's out in the streets. Conviction level of a black person, and I ain't gonna say no. I'm just gonna be honest. They ain't my fucking problem. They would look at of a black person. So what they would do is they started rewriting and making everything be domestic violence. Like I said, if you flinch, you flinch. Or pretend as if you gonna hit somebody. That's domestic violence. If you throw an object at somebody, and it could be a non-lethal object. I'm talking about if you throw like a diaper. That's what they did to my homeboy. My homeboy had an argument with his baby mama, right? Because he had went to work and she sat on her ass all day. And she didn't change the diaper. So by the time he got home, the baby's diaper was drenched in urine and you know what. So he got pissed. He got pissed. And he basically threw the diaper at her. And he cussed her out. And they charged him with domestic violence. So that's what they started doing. That's what they started doing. So they started tying everything. Like if you pretend, flinch, you could accidentally bump against somebody. Guess what? Domestic violence. And then you sitting up in those classes for 52 weeks. You doing community service. And then a lot of times what they'll do is when you got arrested, okay, they'll make your bill like 30, 40, upwards to $50,000. And some people wouldn't have $5,000 at hand. Because a lot of people live paycheck to paycheck. So a lot of that was aimed towards the blue collar people. So that's how they was able to start getting a lot of people on domestic violence. And the funny thing is, even if the woman didn't even want to press charges with you, the state could pick up the case. Now, you could, so basically they'll say, hey, well, we'll let you out of jail today, but we want you to just plead guilty. We just want you to plead guilty. And then we'll let you out. And it was a trap. Guess what? You got to do all this stuff. You got a domestic violence conviction and you instantly lose your firearm rights. Which is fucked up. And then when they run a background check, if they see anything pertaining to battery or violence, it would be hard for you to get a job, whether it's a misdemeanor or a felony. Now, I heard they since have took that off applications, but between 2000 and like 2018, that was tough. Because at first they used to ask you, were you convicted of a felony? Okay, cool. Misdemeanor, I don't have to answer that question. I don't have to answer that question. But then after 9/11, they started asking you, have you been convicted of a felony or misdemeanor? And then you had to put yes or no. Okay, if you put no and they ran a background check, you instantly disqualified from, employment opportunity. Instantly, you're screwed. So a lot of people was complaining about this, say, hey man, I'm having trouble finding work. And the funny thing is, corporations get tax breaks if they hire convicted felons or people with criminal records. So that's your crooked government, how they was manufacturing convictions. And they targeted mostly black dudes with that. Because a lot of black people didn't have disposable income and stuff. Like you live from check to check. So if you couldn't bail out that day or within a couple of days, you would have to wait it out. And then they can keep you in jail up to 6 months before they let you go. They'll just say, okay, well, you gonna stay in jail. But yeah, even if they'll say we picking up the case, but they hoping that the person would testify. But here's the thing: if the person chooses not to testify and you bail out, they have nothing. Because in all likelihood, if the person won't testify against you, they just gonna have to drop the charges. But if you don't have the money to bail out and you want to get out of jail, then guess what? You are railroaded into taking a plea. And then you're screwed up. So that's your government for you. That's your government for you. And Kamala support that kind of stuff. And Kamala was doing that to a lot of people. And I was trying to explain to somebody, I ain't gonna say who he is because I don't want y'all harassing him, but I was trying to explain that Kamala was doing a lot of that stuff. Kamala was railroading a lot of, you know what I'm saying, blue-collar people who didn't have the means to, like, basically bail out. She was doing that with marijuana convictions. She was doing that with all that stuff. If you didn't have the money to get a lawyer, Kamala put a lot of people on paperwork. She was sitting up there basically arresting you on truancy and all that kind of stuff. Because I'm going to tell you something. When people say, oh, well, she signed bills to fund this, to fund that, everybody does that. Every president does that. Where they sign bills to get funding for a certain, I mean, come on, man. Then, so I'm just saying, y'all better be careful. But yeah, I just wanted to explain that to y'all. But getting back to the Diddy thing, this is going to be very interesting. We gonna see how this plays. We gonna see how this plays out. I'm always on top of my game when it pertains to stuff like this. I'm not finna rush to judgment. I'm gonna let this play out. I'm not gonna act off emotion. And I'm just gonna tell you, any celebrity that get online sitting up celebrating, we already know that whole ass nigga 50 Cent probably celebrating, probably tweeting it up. He just mad because one of his bitches allegedly was getting pimped out by Diddy. And he was mad because Diddy wouldn't let Mace out of his contract to come to G Unit. Like I said, 50 Cent is a hoe ass nigga. 50 Cent is a police nigga. All this stuff about, oh, the paperwork is rigged, about him being a rat. 50 Cent is I mean, 50 Cent, all the 50 Cent do is dry snitch. He been dry snitching on Murder Inc. for years. They already confirmed that order of protection he put on Ja Rule and Black Child was legit. And once again, how you able to travel with former Navy SEALs and you know what I'm saying, those type of dudes, black ops and all that kind of stuff, highly trained, you know what I'm saying, ex-military, special forces and all that kind of stuff. That's government stuff. That's government stuff. You know how much money it costs to keep that kind of security? And for real, the only way you get that kind of security, unless you got, I'm talking about buku dollars, or the government is supplying you with that type of security because you're valuable, because you're providing information. So when people say that 50 Cent ain't a rat, you a motherfucking lie. Just letting it be known. Just letting it be known. Just keeping it a buck. Like I said, any nigga that get on here celebrating the downfall of Diddy, gloating and stuff, something that seriously, like I said, I'm not happy about this Diddy stuff. Just like I wasn't happy about what happened with Mystical, but at the end of the day, Mystical was a repeat offender. At the end of the day, you have to wash your hands of dudes that just keep doing the same thing. Darren Sharper. That's his name, right? Darren Sharper, right? The former football player. Sorry, they had too much overwhelming evidence. So you have to say, nah, I'm good with dude. But at the same time, the same way you have all this energy towards him, make sure you have that same energy towards Ben Roethlisberger. So I'm just putting that out there because I like to provide information the same way y'all give me information. I like to provide y'all information. I don't celebrate that kind of stuff. It's always sad to hear about that kind of stuff, especially with black men, because the odds are already stacked against us. They're just waiting for us to do the littlest thing we do will be enhanced. The littlest thing we do will be enhanced. It will be blown up. They will make it be like the worst thing they ever saw. They tried. You had some niggas on here trying to justify what happened with Tyreek Hill. I'm gonna tell y'all something that happened to me yesterday. I'm gonna have to go to the highway patrol because I'm finna file a complaint against an officer. Now, I got pulled over for a so-called traffic violation. But this officer, when he came to check my license and my registration and all that good stuff, this dude knocked on the back window of my car. And I saw him place his hand on his gun. So when I rolled down the window, I said, hey, dude, why you had your hand on your gun? And then he was like, what are you talking about? I need y'all to understand something. I have a camera in my car when I go in reverse. Now, I was backing up, but I had the car, I had the brake on. So I could see him on the camera on my car, and he had his hand on his holster. So, and he tried to lie about it. And I didn't have my hand. Yes, I said, yes, you did. Oh, and let me tell you something else. He didn't tell me to keep my windows down. I rolled my windows up. So that's how you know that Tyreek Hill thing was capped. So I will be going down to the highway patrol office, and I'm gonna be filing a complaint against him. I got his name, I got his badge number, and everything. Okay? So I'm proof that Tyreek Hill thing was capped. You don't know what's in the car. Shut up, Cam Newton. Shut up. Same thing with Kwame Brown and all these people, man. Y'all need to be quiet. Y'all sound like some straight marks. So, just keeping it a buck. Just keeping it a buck. So I will be going down to the highway patrol office in Oakland, and I'm going to be filing a complaint against him. There ain't no reason to have your hand on your gun for a routine I don't play that shit. I don't play that shit. And he was some Hispanic cop too. And guess what? Had the porn star mustache. And what pissed me off, he tried to lie. Like, dude, I saw you put your hand on your holster, dude. Like, dude, are you serious? And then they wonder why blacks blacks have issues with law enforcement. A routine traffic stop don't justify you tapping on the back window with your hand on your motherfucking gun. I don't even make, like, dude, that's what I'm saying. They need to do extensive background checks on these cops' background before they give them a badge and a gun. Yeah, he think I'm joking. He think I'm joking. Like I told you, and then he tried to lie. Like, dude, what you tapping on the back window for? I ain't got no tinted windows. All you gotta do is just tap on the side window. So now it didn't went for, like, get out of here, man. Everybody knows in California, the likelihood of somebody having a weapon is like, get out of here. This is a non-open carry state. Hey, I'm not on no rampage. I'm just telling the truth, dude. Don't come at me like that, dude. I'm just telling, see, there you go. This is exactly what I'm talking about. See how these cornballs is? They saying I'm on a rampage because I'm basically telling the truth. I'm telling my truth. All right, get out of here, goofy. You a goofy. I'm not, you a goofy. Talking about, oh, you're on a rampage. How am I on a rampage? Why? Because I'm black? See, this is what I'm talking about right here. Just when a white man raises his voice, it's a concern. You know? It's a concern. You know, he's passionate. He's trying to raise awareness. A black dude do it. He's crazy. He's a savage. Like, dude, get off my channel. Matter of fact, let me block this dude right now. Block your goofy ass. That's what anybody else? Man, I've been saying that we need to organize, but the problem is nobody wants to organize. We need to put together these non-profit organizations. We need to start policing the police. They need non-unionized organizations to make sure that the police, as long as we don't interfere with their investigation, we should have every right to film them and we should have every right to hold them accountable. And that's all I'm saying. But I will be going to file a complaint against that police officer. So I will be filing a complaint against you, homeboy. You and your porn star mustache, bitch. So, you know, but anyway, you guys, I just wanted to get that out, just add some stuff to it. Just stay aware and let's not rush to judgment with Diddy. Let's wait till everything comes about and then we'll make our assessment. And watch out for cornball niggas that's gonna try to celebrate. Because like I say, 50 Cent is so predictable, but I promise you, he probably didn't tweeted it up, you know, gloating. But at the end of the day, it says a lot about you if you lose your bitch to Diddy. And he was pimping your ex bitch out. Yeah, I said it. I'm out.